Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marte. I come from Norway and I love makeup, and today I'm doing a Glam Shop video on some new stuff that I just ordered from Glam Shop very recently, and I've been doing quite a few looks with all the things that I bought, so I'm going to show you all of those, and I'm also going to do some swatches. So first and foremost, it is this Bling palette. That is what it's called, Bling. So it's a quad with one matte and 3 iridescent sparkly shadows. So I'm very excited about that one. I also purchased 2 of the new gel eyeshadows that they just released with their newest fall collection. And then I had to get the new blush that they have. It is a beautiful rosy blush called Tanned. And I got this liquid bronzer called Nougat. So that is basically what I'm going to show you today. I was initially planning to also show you this palette, but I just got a notification that they are sending me the whole collection, so I figured I would just save it for another video, but you will see me use a few of the mattes for the looks that I made with the gel eyeshadows. So just know that that is a video that will be coming on my channel as soon as I get that package. But let's get started with some swatches and the looks that I created. I feel like I can just start this off with the blush. I did use it for one of the looks, or actually I used it for all the looks, but I only showed it once. It looks like this. So it's just a kind of standard warm pink tone, which I think is very flattering and very beautiful, and I used it all days this week, so I've really gotten a good feel of it, and it's very pigmented, very blendable, and it looks really beautiful on the skin with a very like natural glowy finish. So that is the cream blush in the shade Tanned. And then we have this liquid bronzer. I find it quite warm. I also used that one for one of the looks, so you will see me using it. But you can see it's extremely pigmented, so I used way too much the first time, and it's very warm. So for my skin tone, I think it's a little warm, but it still works as long as I don't put on way too much. But now let me show you the gel eyeshadows. I really want to show you these very well because they're just insanely beautiful. So this one is Cosmic Sand, and this is Costly Beige. And you can just see already that they look so stunning, but I'm going to swatch them on my hand. So here I have them each with just a thin layer, and I think you can see, at least for me, Cosmic Sand is the most sparkly and intense. But I'm going to show you with my flashlight on them as well, and Costly Beige is just, it has those beautiful blue, almost purple sparkles to it. I hope you're able to see it, maybe here. Yeah, this is a lot better of an angle. You can see that stunning blue shift on Cosmic Sand, and they're just so sparkly, so shiny, and they have those gorgeous color shifts. I mean, Costly Beige doesn't really have a shift, but it's more just a lot of sparkles, as you can see here. But yeah, wow, there you can really see all the colors in it. Just incredible, and it's really reminding me of like a festive shadow, so it's perfect for Christmas and such. And then we have Cosmic Sand, which is just the best, like fairy kind of shade. It's pink, it's blue, it's purple, and so sparkly and shiny. Very intense and beautiful. So yeah, those are the gel eyeshadows I picked up, and I'm so in love with them. We have the Bling quad. I have just fallen in love with this quad. It is so stunning. I hope you can see all of those beautiful sparkles, maybe even better now. They're just so magical, especially that first shade in the palette. But I think you can see that this shade here, it has some blue, it has a little bit of green and gold, and then we have this one. It is more of a pink and green, whereas this in the bottom, it is more of a green and purple, I feel like, with that warm gold base. So I'm going to swatch them all out for you. So first we have them here on my finger, just so you can see how they pick up. They're all feeling very smooth and almost velvety when I swatch them. You can see that matte is very pigmented. And then we have it, so the first shade there, the second shade, the first and the second row, and the matte. But here we have the shadows swatched out on the arm. They're just so ethereal, so stunning, very, I would say neutral, but they have such a kick when you get them on the eye, and especially if you use them with glitter glue, then you're really gonna get a lot of intensity with these shadows. So beautiful. And I think the first shadow is actually my favorite. I'm just trying to show you from different angles so you can really see the shadows properly, but it's a bit hard to show it. But I think you can see, especially when I do like this, you can really see the colors of the shadows, I think. At least it's very obvious in real life. And yeah, I suppose that's enough with the swatches, but I love it so much. For this first look I'm doing, I'm gonna use this gel eyeshadow in Costly Beige because it's just so insanely beautiful. And I was thinking to just use this palette. It's called something with Violet. It's such a beautiful cover. Anyway, I'm gonna use just these mattes, just regular brown mattes. I feel like these are neutral, not necessarily cool toned, but I think they're really nice. So I'm gonna start off with this deepest one. And I'm gonna apply this deepest shade just in the outer corner and slightly wing it out a little bit. I was, by the way, using the 022 brush from Glam Shop, and now I'm using the GB13 brush. I feel like those are two of my favorite Glam Shop brushes because those are the ones I always reach for. But either way, I'm now applying the other brown shade. I'm gonna apply it basically all over here, so I think I'm gonna switch to a slightly bigger brush, but I'll use this one for the transition. So this is the Stasi Alex WG1. It's a little bit bigger, so it's easier to just cover a bigger area here. And now I'm just gonna take a skin colored matte. I'm usually going for this one lately from the Glam Grunge palette. And I usually just apply it all over the top here, underneath the eyebrow and the inner corner. And I'm also gonna take that lighter beige underneath my eye and also blend the wing a little bit. So now I think I'm ready for the gel eyeshadow, which I'm so excited about. I'm just going to finish off the other eye first and we'll get to that gel eyeshadow. Now I'm ready to apply the gel shadow, and I'm actually going to use a brush. So I'm just using a random brush right now, probably from the Norwegian brand Makeup Mecca or something, I don't know. But I'm just going to disperse this in a thin layer. I'm kind of already regretting not using just my finger for this because I think that's just such an easy way to get an even layer. But again, I'm just trying to get a thin layer. I'm also buffing it out slightly towards the top here. I'll probably go in with 2 layers, but I'll have to let it dry a bit first. Yeah, and it's looking so pretty already, but with full intensity with 2 layers, I think it's just gonna be so pretty. I just applied it on the other side while I was waiting for it to dry, and I feel like it's pretty dry now. So I'm ready for a second layer. I'm picking up quite a lot now, but I can use it on both eyes, I think. Oh wow, but now you can really get that gold base a bit more. And what I like the most about this is just all the sparkles, and those blue sparkles in particular. They're just so pretty. I have to be a bit careful here now because I applied a bit too much just here at the edge. So here we have them both. They're still drying a bit and I love it so much. I hope they dry down like the jelly highlighter that I have from Glam Shop, because then it means it will just be crease proof during the whole day, and the intensity of these are just so amazing. So if these last long, I'm gonna have to get the rest of them that I don't have. I have quite a few new products from Glam Shop, so I'm also gonna try their new, or it's not new, but it's their liquid bronzer. I'm not sure how this color is gonna look, but it looks like it would be good for maybe olive skin tones. So if you are, or if you have that, maybe this could be a nice one for you. I like to use, that is pigmented. Okay, I'm just gonna start by using my finger, and I think I'm gonna have to use that amount on both sides. I hope it doesn't dry down super fast. And I like to just do it like this because then I basically have the shape that I want, and I just dabble it a little bit up and down to blend it. So it's definitely a warmer shade than I would usually go for. Maybe this would be better for summer, but I'm just gonna make it work now anyway. And it did say it's a bronzer. I often use contour shades, and that's all I use because I use blushes that I blend quite a lot. Wow, this is going so far. Look at all of that pigment just from like that one dot. Wow, that is extremely pigmented. I'm just gonna go back in with my foundation brush. I really like the finish of it though. It's very nice. I wonder how the other color is, because this one looked like it was the lightest and coolest one. But it's looking quite dark on me. I don't know, I don't like how it's looking here, but I like how it's looking here. It's just still very intense though, but maybe it will get better once I apply my blush and concealer, of course. I'm worried now that it's like too dry, so that if I touch it more, it's just gonna make it look weird. But I feel like it's definitely not the product's fault, it's just that it's extremely pigmented and I got way too much upon first application. Either way, I'm gonna use this new cream blush too. It's called Tanned. So I'm gonna apply that, and yesterday I noticed, and you can even see it, that it's a very wet cream. So this one too was extremely pigmented. So I'm just gonna take a very tiny amount. Hope you can see that. It's not a lot, but I think it's gonna go a very long way regardless. And I'm gonna apply that in the same way that I just applied the bronzer, just that this one is placed a bit higher. Oh, I like the color that it's giving. And actually it's not that intense. You can definitely see a difference, but I thought it was going to be even more intense, which I'm kind of glad it isn't, because then I can build it up a little bit. But it's still very pigmented, so don't get me wrong. Taking this much on this side. I think I need my mirror just so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to apply the rest of my makeup before I take a better look at this, but I feel like my application, like I need to try this several times just so that I can find the best way to apply it. It's just looking a bit too intense just by the color, but it's fine. I'm also just going to show you this really quick. I love this highlighter. It's relatively new from Glam Shop. It looks like this, and it's just the most perfect shiny formula. They do amazing highlighters that I love so much. So I'm just going to apply this one right here at the top of my, what is it called, cheekbone. And I'm just buffing it in a little bit, but it just gives you the most beautiful glow, and the color is perfect too. It's not too deep, but it's also got a little bit of base color so that it doesn't look too icy. Now here's the final look, and this gel eyeshadow is so pretty. You can see where I applied a bit too thick right here, but I think it's not that noticeable. It's mostly just right now when I'm doing photos and stuff I can see it, but in real life it's not like you're going to notice. So just be aware of that when you apply it. If you're gonna get this shadow, that you have to try to not apply too thick of a layer. But honestly, just look at it. It's so pretty. It's very sparkly, and honestly I don't think the camera is doing it justice at all, because it's so pretty and all those tiny sparkles are beautiful, and it's just super shiny. So I'm very happy with this, and I'm probably gonna get the rest of them at some point because I just love this. And I'm very excited to see if it's holding up though, but I will of course update you in this video about that. But yeah, that is the first look with Costly Beige. And I forgot to show you the bronzer and the blush, but I mean, it's not necessarily my color, but I think it's still looking good. So it's not like I feel like I have to remove it. But But yeah, I will probably try to use a little bit less next time, and here I feel like I could have blended it better, but it dried down a bit before I started blending. So I think here it looks better with the blend, at least as far as I can tell. So that's just what I'm going to try next time. For this next look, I'm using Cosmic Sand, which is just the most stunning gel eyeshadow. I mean, the camera doesn't do it justice. I'm going to use this, and then I'm only going to use one matte from the new palette. I'm going to use the shade called Nougat because it's kind of like a beige with a lot of pink in it. So I'll blend that one out with the matte white or nude shadow from the Grunge palette. I already primed my eye with my Smashbox primer, and then I added some of that Glam Shop concealer to the inner parts and the outer part of the eye, just to cancel out any redness as usual. And now I'm gonna just put this shadow all over the lid and blend it out just like I did with the other gel eyeshadow. I'm gonna use the same brush that I used for the other eyeshadow because I felt like that worked really well. So I picked it up right here and it looks so intense and beautiful. Wow. I'm gonna try to be careful not to add too deep of a layer anywhere now because I did get a little bit of that last time. So I'm just trying to disperse it evenly over the lid, and I'll be extra careful here at the outside where I want it to blend into the matte. And then I'm just gonna let it dry before I add another layer, but honestly it's looking really nice already. So I feel like I could have left this at just one layer. Maybe I will. I will just wait until it dries and see. Now honestly I think it's looking so good just with one layer, so I would have left it at this, but I feel like I need to show you with 2 layers because I'm sure some of you are curious if it will look more intense. So here we go. And again, I'm trying to not make a thick layer, so it's a bit harder with the second layer because you don't necessarily see where you put that second layer, but I'm trying. I mean, I think that's a nice second layer. I don't think I put something everywhere, but I think that's gonna still be fine. So I'm just gonna finish off this look. I did use a little bit of that neutral shade called, what is it called? It's the one in the bottom right here. I used that one on the lower lash line together with that pink. So that is basically what I used for this look, and maybe I'll go in with the shade that's over the one I used to blend the lower lash line because it's like a blue and purple iridescent shade. I think that would be nice for the inner corner with this look. So I'm just taking that on a small detailed brush and applying it here, and that is the whole look. So I'll finish off the rest of the makeup. Here is the final look together with that iridescent shade from the palette in my inner corner, and I think it looks really pretty. The gel eyeshadow is just intense and so sparkly, and it's very dimensional. I feel like it is mostly blue, but it kind of has, I don't know, like something beige, and then it has something purpley pink. It is just very, very pretty, and I hope you can like see the sparkles. Maybe you can see it if I try to focus the camera on the other eye. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, here you can definitely see that purple. So yeah, I really like these gel eyeshadows. They're so pretty, relatively easy to use as long as you try to not make too thick of a layer with them, and they dry down quite fast as well, so very nice. And they stick for, like the last time when I used the other one, I think it had gone like 13-14 hours and no creasing, so that is really, really great. But yeah, super happy with this look. Very simple but very sparkly. For my first look with this palette, I think we're gonna do 2. I will be using the matte, of course, but I really want to use this one. It looks like it is the one that fits the least, but it actually does have some gold sparkles, gold and blue. So I want to use that because I think it would look really nice on this kind of mustardy neutral brown shade. And the brush I'm using is the Glam Shop 007, which is just a big blending brush. Wow, I really like this kind of color. It is so pretty for just having one matte in the palette. This is a really good one. And I think I'm actually gonna apply it all over the lid. Maybe just keep the very inner part free, but other than that, I'm just gonna blend it out all over the crease. And it's applying beautifully. It's pigmented, it blends out easily, just like I'm used to with Glam Shop shadows. Now I'm just applying some glam glue before I go in with the shimmer, and I'll be using my finger for both. So I'm pretty sure with this palette that you can get a very ethereal, light sparkle look if you just use the shadows as they are without any kind of base. But I want to see what they can truly be. Wow, that is so pretty. It looks like it has some pink there, but I think it might just be the base. But that blue and gold also gives a sort of green look to it. Yeah, definitely giving a lot of green, but it's pretty much just because of the gold and blue, I think. But when I was looking really close at the palette, it did look like it had a couple of blue sparkles too, so I'm not sure. Will be easier once I put my flashlight on the finished look. So I'm just going to apply the matte shadow also a little bit here under the eye, and then I'll just finish off the rest of my makeup and I can show you the close-up. And I think I want to do at least one more look. Maybe I'll even do two, but I don't know if I have time for that. But yeah, let me show you the close-up of this finished look. Here is the finished look, and I have to say that this shadow is really magical. And by this shadow I mean of course the shimmer. It is so pretty. It has, I mean, it almost appears purple. I think it's because of the more kind of pinkish base combined with the blue sparkles, but it also has a kind of green flip to it, which is mostly because of those gold sparkles. I think you can see it here a little bit, but you can also tell it's just super sparkly, very beautiful. So I'm so happy I got this little quad because it's super affordable, yet it has some really magical shadows in it, and the matte is just perfect for these shadows if you like warm tones. But if you want something that's not too warm, just use the shadows with a different kind of matte and you will get a completely different look. But that is the first shadow in the Bling palette together with the matte. For the second look with this palette, I'll be using this shade and I'll be using the matte as well. So I just primed my eyes with my Smashbox primer, and also I did use the Glam Shop concealer in the inner and outer parts. And then I used the matte shadow that is very light from the Grunge palette from Glam Shop just to mattify. And now I'm just applying this basically all over the lid, but I'm gonna try to be a little bit more light-handed towards the inner corner here. But basically I just want to show you how this shadow looks, the shimmer shadow I mean, on top of this shadow that comes in the palette with it. And this is just a perfect caramel brown shade to me. I love it so much. I just applied the glam glue to my whole eye, and now I'm going in with that second shade. Wow, it is looking so sparkly. Like, these just look so much more intense once you put them on the glam glue, and also when you have just a colored base underneath. Wow, it's very pretty though. So just to make sure I try all of the shimmers, I think I'm gonna go in with the other one on the lower lash line towards the inner corner, and then I'm taking that other shade on my little finger, and this is gonna be a bit hard to show you guys. I'll definitely have to clean up a little bit here because that got very messy. Those shadows are a little bit similar. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe it will show better when I do the close-up with the different lighting. But this one is kind of like a more cool toned green. This one is a little bit warmer. And I also see some purples here instead of pink, which I see here. Here is the final look with the Bling palette, and wow. Just look at those stunning sparkles. It is just so stunning. I love it so much. I definitely recommend this palette. It's just so, I mean, it's very simple to use because it's so few colors, but still you get that impact with the shimmers. But that is the final look with the Bling palette. So those are all of the looks that I created and all the products that I tested. I'm just gonna start off with this Bling palette. I love it. I've said it already many times in this video, but I think it's such a neat little palette with just a nice variety of shimmers, and I love the tone of the matte brown because it's a little bit more warm, almost a bit mustardy, which I love. And all this, like the sparkly shadows here, are just so intense and beautiful and ethereal, and I just think they're so beautiful. And I do have all the other quads from Glam Shop apart from the green one because that didn't look like the shimmers were my kind of formula. They looked a little bit more tame, but I do definitely love all of the other quads as well. As for the gel eyeshadows, I already said it too. I love them. They're so sparkly, so beautiful. Again, it's kind of like the same vibe as the ones that I have from, like the ones I'm wearing from the Bling palette, because they're just very sparkly and just a little bit unexpected sort of. So I really enjoy those, and I'm so excited that Glam Shop is sending me the whole collection because that means I can try the other ones too, because I'm sure they look just as beautiful as these ones. And I already talked a bit about the blush, but I really do like this. It blends very beautifully. It has a very nice finish. I didn't use it for this look though, but I've used it for all my looks this week. But it's very nice, and the difference in this one from the other ones is that this you can like see that it's wet and it's more almost like a mousse kind of, and the other ones, they're very hard, so they're more like a balm almost, and it doesn't melt that fast when you touch your finger to it. So you definitely need to work a bit with it to pick up more products. So I do like the change that they did with this formula. The liquid bronzer I also really liked. I think the color is not necessarily the best for me, but I think if I want a very warm bronzed look, then I would definitely go for this. But I tend to use more contour shades instead of bronzers because I'm very pale, and I don't know, I think warm shades just look very warm on me. But the product itself is very good. So basically all of the products that I got from Glam Shop are just hits for me, and I'm so happy with all of the things that I purchased. So I'm very excited for both that and the new autumn or fall collection that I will be doing a video on probably next week. But I hope that you like this video. I hope that you also like these products. I think they're just so good and so affordable, so I'm very happy about that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Bye!